So this video is talk about our assignment 8 part 2. So one thing I want you guys to do is if you didn't read assignment 8 yet, please go to the assignment page 8 first. Try to read the information we provide you for the part 2, because now I want to explain the concept. If you didn't read the assignment pages carefully, you may not understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, so if you didn't read the assignment pages, please do so. So if you're done for that, so this one we want to talk about is for your assignment 8. We want to do the server simulation. So what is the server simulation? We all went shopping before. So before you finish, you need to pay what you need to buy. So you need to wait in line in the cashier. So once one cashier is ready, so then you can go there to pay. So here our program is, we will do the simulation. So we will give this simulation some information. For example, maybe I have 5 cashiers. So then in the waiting area, I have maybe 12 customers can wait there. So then we have the customer randomly will go to the waiting line. So then maybe we say this simulation, we will take 1 hour to do the simulation. So every minute we will report what's going on, how many customers in the cashier, and which cashier is busy and how long it takes. So that's our server simulation. So in this server simulation, we will read some information. So this information actually in the simulation.txt file. In this txt file, we just require all the information we need there is already in the right order. So that's here is the example for the simulation on .txt file. They will look like this. So the same thing, you will have your simulation.txt file will read from your project. Okay, so here you don't need to give them more information. Just each line we have the data we want. And also they are in the order. So the first number means how many servers. So the second number is the new arrival generate rate. So the next one is waiting length. So that means the waiting line, what is the maximum length we have. And also each customer will be served for some range for the time. So for each customer, the minimum serving time is 3. So then the next one is 10. So this one is the maximum. So you can see actually you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 numbers. They are all follow the order. And we just assume the text file gives us the information and they are in the right order. So the last one is the simulation time. Okay, so we see how we were using the simulation. Actually, that's what we implement for the queue. We want to do that. So when we do the waiting line, you see you will wait in the queue. So when you are the first customer wait there, you will be the first one to be served. So here I just draw the picture. They look like this. Try to use a picture to show you. Actually, just see here, for example, we have 4 cashiers. So then the cashier, actually the order, we're just using the index, so we can using array to save that. So for example, here is our queue. So our queue, our waiting length is equal to 8. Of course, when we do the queue, we are not really note how many the size we reserve for them. It's just later we will check the size of the queue to know the maximum waiting length is 8. Okay, so after we know the information, so we will see regularly how the simulation we will do. Okay, so we see here. So whenever you want to ready to pay to leave, you need to wait in line. So that's why here the customer wait here. So once you have cashier ready, you will go to the customer, go to the cashier. So here in our simulation, we already give you one function we call get random number of arrival. So this one is from the rate you provide earlier. So that's the rate we have. So each minute we just generate how many new arrival will do. So new arrival actually just consider that's for example, Macy's, people are shopping. So sometimes they will just see, do we have people waiting in line? So those new arrivals, sometimes when you come, you may not really go to waiting in line because if they're too busy, you don't want to go. So that's why here we're using this function to generate the new arrival. But this new arrival, not sure they will really go to the waiting line. So that's why here you need to use the if statement. If the wait line still have the size, so then the wait line size less than the wait length, so then the customer will go there. So when you have the new arrival, you not become the customer yet, because here in our queue, we were using the customer data type to save in the queue. So each time when we push the object into the queue, that will be a customer. So what is the customer? In the customer, actually, each customer we want you to do is you need to give them the ID number. So we start from alphabetic order, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So this time when you have the new arrival, you see you have the queue, have the space. Before you go to the waiting line, it's just a new arrival. You are not really a customer yet. But once we see, yeah, we do have the space. So then I go to wait in line. So in order to push into the queue, this new arrival finally become a customer. So this customer, we will assign them an ID, but this ID is not random. We want you to start to generate from A to Z. If you do the customer until Z, they just recycle back to the A. Okay, so we just see, for example, here we have waiting line. So then I just push my customer here. Okay, so when you got here, your arrival time still, when you have your customer go to your wait line, they only have ID. We don't have arrival time yet. Because when the arrival time will assign is not here. Because when you're waiting in line, you are not paid yet. So here, when customer waiting in line, right? So we will check. So actually here, even we only have cashier like this, but we have more information about the cashier. I need to know if this cashier is available or not. So that's why we're using one array. The data type is bool. So then, so we just call this one service status. So this service status tell us is this cashier is busy or not. So for example, we see here, I have T true mean that's busy. So if not busy, that's false. That means they are available. Okay, so now if we see here, oh, then this has one cashier is available. So now I can pop my customer to the cashier. But this one only check the status. Once I really need to pop the customer from the waiting line to the cashier, then I have another array. This data type is customer. So the same thing, that's the same customer data type. So once I have a customer pop from the waiting line into the cashier, for example here, A will go there, right? We just say, for example, this cashier is available, so I move A there. So after I move A there, right? So then I have the current time. Okay, so you will update the time. So then your end time here is, earlier we told you, what's your service minimum time and maximum time. Since we give you a range, so you need to use the random number generator to know the range. What is the service time? So for example, we start doing the simulation, the current time is 0. So then my mini time is 3 to 10. So then I just say 5 is the maximum time. So these two, arrival time or end time, they are not updated until the customer pop from the waiting line and go to the cashier. So of course, you see here, since I update the A move to here, right? So after I update the customer information, so then I also need to update the cashier status. Okay. So here I just show you the idea how they work like this. Okay. So now we really go to see the simulation step. Let me show you here. Okay, now let me show you the simulation step now. So actually our simulation, we will have a for loop. And this for loop, actually, I don't have the condition when they will finish, because later we'll show you they have a couple different situations we need to consider. So this for loop, we kind of just let them run. We start from time. So time actually is the current time. So then we just, every minute we update the information. So you have the 6th step you need to go over. Earlier when we show you, generate a new arrival using the post-and function, actually that's the step 2. So then after you have new arrival, we need to check the waiting line if there is a space. So I will push the new arrival into the waiting line, become a customer. So that's step 3. So then afterward, right, so step 4 is after you have customer in waiting line. So then if any cashier is available, I need to pop the customer from waiting line. So then I will move to the cashier. So then we display the output information, because every minute we will display the information, which each cashier, what is the customer and how many customer in the waiting line. So then, right, so you see the number 6 is later we will show you when the simulation will really end. Okay, so 2, 3, 4 earlier from our picture kind of very makes sense. But one thing is that one is for we just regular in daily life we feel like that. But here actually we need to add the first one for every minute for your simulation is to update the status for each cashier. Okay, because one thing is remember after you pop your customer from the waiting line and push to the cashier, you update the end time. So this one actually we will move to the we will have the first one, we add the first one is because when we first minute, second minute, third minute, so when we go each minute, the first thing we need to check if any cashier, the customer, the end time is up. So if this end time is up, so then we need to have the customer, if the customer end time equal to the current time, actually he finished. So that's why we'll update the status for the array. So this one you need to write a for loop to check each cashier, the current customer, if their end time equal to the current time, then that means this customer is done for the checkout. So then they will leave. So then afterward, that's the 2, 3, and the 4 is earlier we show you. Okay, so in order to get the new arrival, you need to call get random number of arrival function. We already provide you in the assignment. But remember, it's just arrival number. So for example, now this time, we just call this function. This minute, I have 3 new arrival. But this 3 new arrival just a number for now. They are not go to the waiting line until I go to one by one. I have 3 arrival, right? So each one I need to check. Is the current wait line size is less than the wait length? So if that's true, right, so then I can make the first new arrival become a customer. But if not, I just ignore all the arrival. Because sometimes people, they thinking about to pay, but when they see so many people, so maybe they just go back to shopping again until the line is a little less. Okay, so that's why you push the new arrival to the waiting line is only for your wait line have the room. So once you have your new arrival go to the wait line, they become the customer object. So that's why here you need to create a customer object with the ID. So afterward, you're waiting in line, right? So that's why the next one is when we can pop the customer from wait line. That means the same thing. You need to go over the array one by one. If any cashier, the service status now is not busy. Good, so that's we have the next customer. So it was here the next customer. So your next customer will pop from the wait line. So you'll copy the customer information to this cashier. So then you update the end time. Then you update your arrival time and end time. So you make this cashier become busy.